Hi guys, here's the video for Wednesday, April 8th on geometric series. So there's a do now, so why don't you pause the video already and give it a shot, and when you're ready, press play. So it says find the seventh term of the following geometric sequence by using the explicit formula. So this is the formula from Monday. So we're looking for the seventh term, that is your n. A1 is the first term, so that would be 27, times r. If you need to find r, remember you can take a term, usually the second one, divide it by the one before, usually that would be the first term, and you should get 1/3 here. Again, n is 7. So we can type this into our calculator. 27 times 1/3 to the 7 minus 1 power. This is definitely not a nice decimal. It keeps going on forever. So I'm going to hit math, enter, enter, and make it a fraction, and you should get 1/27. So now today we're going to look at what we call a geometric series. So if you remember from when we did the arithmetic series, I know it was a while ago, but a series is just the sum of the terms of a sequence. Sum, remember, means add. So it means that you're going to take the numbers in the sequence and add them together. For example, if I took the numbers in this sequence up here from the do now and added them together, so remember, these are still forming a geometric pattern. We're still multiplying to go from one to the next. But when I find their sum and add them together, we call it a series. So here is your formula for a geometric series. Sn, S represents the sum, equals A1 minus A1 times R. Now, just like with the explicit formula that we just used in the do now, I would recommend that you put R in parentheses up on the top with the exponent. You could put it in parentheses on the bottom also if you want. But it's times R to the n power over 1 minus R. And this n in the formula is how many terms are being added together. So first example here, write a formula to represent the sum of a geometric series with 8 terms whose first term is 3 and whose common ratio is 4. So using that formula from above. N, remember, is how many terms you're adding together. So the sequence has 8 terms, so we're adding together 8 things. A1, the first term, they said was 3. R, the common ratio, is 4. N again, same N, is still 8. And on the bottom, R, same R as the top, is 4. Now you're going to want to plug this whole thing into your calculator. I highly suggest you use the TI-84. This app that I'm using, I posted it in Google Classroom under the topic Distance Learning. You can download it to your Chromebooks. It only can be downloaded to the Chromebook. But the nice thing about it is if you do alpha, y equals, alpha is the green button, y equals is the top left, and then the first one, you get a fraction. So you are less likely to make a mistake. You don't have to worry about any special parentheses or anything. So I can type this in the same way I had it on my paper, and I can get my answer. Now, if you do not have your Chromebook for whatever reason and you don't have the 84, if you're going to do this all out, put parentheses around what would be the numerator, then divide it by and put again parentheses around what would be the denominator. So you want one big parenthesis around the numerator, one big parenthesis around the denominator, and divide them that way. Otherwise, if you leave out parentheses and you don't use the fraction button like I did the first time, you will get the wrong answer. So we have 65,535. Number 2, find the sum of the first 7 terms of this geometric series. So again, we're going to use the formula that I gave you up above. And how many things we're adding together is 7. A1, the first term, is 1/8 times r. Remember the r. Take a term, divide it by the one before. So you can do this on your calculator. Again, parentheses around each individual fraction. You should get 2 for r. N is still 7. R on the bottom is still 2. And now you can plug this into your calculator. Again, I recommend on the calculator, alpha the green button, y equals top left, first one. I think you are less likely to make a mistake. Individual fractions, I always put in parentheses. So if you look at how I am typing it in, and you should get 127 divided by 8. If you're not getting a fraction, you could get a decimal. This is a nice decimal, so if your calculator gave you a decimal, I would take this decimal. But if you wanted the fraction, remember math, enter, enter. So we have 127 over 8. Okay, question 3. Why don't you press pause, try question 3 on your own, and when you're ready, when you finish it, you can press play and see if you got it right. So find the sum of the first 10 terms of the sequence. So sum again means a series. So you should be using that formula from the front. So we're adding together 10 things. So n is 10. A1 is 1. R, remember, take a term, divide it by the one before. You should get 3. N is still 10. R is still 3. Plug it into your calculator. Alpha y equals choice 1. And plugging this in, you should get 29,524. Number 4, find the sum of the first 8 terms of the following sequence. So again, why don't you press pause, try this one on your own, and when you think you got it, you can go ahead and press play again. All right, so again, we're finding a sum. So here is our formula. N would be 8 for this one. That's how many things we're adding together. A1, the first term, is 19. R, take a term, divide it by the one before. You should get -6 here. N again is 8. R on the bottom is -6. Notice I have a double negative here because the first we are subtracting from the formula, and then the second negative is from the R. If you want to put it in parentheses, if that's going to keep it more organized for you, go for it. Plug it into your calculator. Alpha y equals choice 1. And you should get this nice big number, -4,558,955. And 8955. Last one. Same thing, press pause, give it a shot. When you think you got it, press play and you can check your answer. Okay, find the sum again. So here is our formula. So we're adding together 7 terms. A1 is 28. R, again, if you need to, you can do it off on the side. You should get 1/4. So we are going to plug this into our calculator. Alpha y equals choice 1. And you should get this nice big fraction. If you did it a different way and you did not get a fraction and you got a decimal instead, there's the decimal, but this is not a nice decimal, so I would prefer the fraction. So we have 38,227 over 1,024. So there it is, geometric series. If you have a question, please email or leave a comment on Google Classroom.